The tale about a young female police officer who fell in love with an armed robber. In the heart of a bustling town, where the night whispers secrets and fear lurks in every shadow, there was a young man known as Shadow Kule. He was not just a thief, but a mastermind of crime, weaving a web of corruption that entangled politicians and policemen, even the helpless citizen. His hands were stained with blood of the innocent. People who dared to challenge him, yet to the poor, he was a savior. After every robbery, he would go to the church to give thanks and also bring food to the widow and the motherless children. For years, Kule and his men has ruled the world, robbing banks, eliminating threats and ensuring that every police officer traveled to the town will understand the rule, accept his money or face his wrath. His power stretched so far that when his gang sent letter to the police before robbing a bank or anywhere, the law would step aside knowing resistance was fruitless. Politicians sought his service during election, paying him to spread chaos and to silence their opponents. Kule was untouchable, so he thought. This officer, DPO, Inspector Jide, a man of honor who would not be bribed. When Kule men visited one day, as usual, to bribe him, he refused and warned Kule to turn a new leaf, for a storm was coming. Kule, furious and vowed in his heart to teach DPO a lesson. That night, Kule men, led by his ruthless lieutenant Bala, set out for another robbery. But the unexpected happened. Inspector Jide has led an ambush. The police captured them all. For the first time, Kule's usual phone call did not work. His men were sentenced to 50 years imprisonment each, and Kule was forced into hiding, surfacing at night to indulge in his favorite verse, Women of the Night. When the police officer learned of his weakness for women in red, they stationed a stormy undercover officer, Sergeant Amara, at his usual hunting ground. When Kule saw her, he was captivated and took her away, unaware she was his downfall. But fate had it twisted. Amara was meant to betray him, later fell for him. Instead, love blinded her, and soon she was feeding Kule with police information, warning him when to flee, even helping him in money laundering. She abandoned her duty, left the force, and became his partner in crime. Together they traveled from city to city, robbing banks and living luxury. At this time, Amara is no longer interested in her duty. She will travel whenever she chooses, and sometimes without even informing her boss. She will go to the spot where she usually meets Kule. For 6 months, the police watched as she slept further into darkness. Realizing her betrayal, Inspector Jide removed her from every investigation and even dropped her from work. But it was too late. She was no longer an officer, but the queen of crime. Kule's arrogance only grew. He believed he was invisible, but the person began to catch up with him. Among those who suffered under his regime was Mama Nkechi, an elderly woman whose only son Chuka was killed in one of Kule's orchestrated bank heists. She had been praying for justice for years, and when she heard Inspector Jide's arrival, She sought him out with tears. "Please, sir, help me fight for justice for my son. That man stole my son's future," she cried. "But I have been praying and praying, and I know one day my son will get justice. With the God that I serve and our ancestor, he will help you to achieve this," she said with tears in her eyes. "Go home, Mama. Don't worry yourself. The police are here to serve you. We are here to fulfill every mother's prayer. Don't worry. Put your mind to rest. We are here for you," Inspector Jide reassuring her. Meanwhile, Inspector Jide has been working with a secret informant within Kule's gang. His former right-hand man, Ebuka, had grown wild of his bloodshed and has also lost one of his younger brother, Tunde, in one of their raids. Seeing Kule roll recklessly, Ebuka struck a deal with the police, providing them with crucial intelligence of Kule hideout and movements. As Kule continued his crime activity, he failed to notice the small betrayer forming around him. Bala, one of the police lieutenants who has been giving Kule information, the police also has noticed his withdrawal and betrayal. Now he is now facing the law. Questioning his loyalty. The police, now armed with intelligence, made several coordination to raid Kule's secret hideout, arresting many of his loyal men. One fateful night, Kule planned the biggest ace in history, a plan to rob the central bank and flee the country with enough money to live in exile. Amara, who was now fully consumed by his love, insisted on going with him, but Ebuka had already tipped off the police about this ace. As Kule and his gang stormed the central bank, they found themselves trapped. Inspector Jide has orchestrated a counter-attack, surrounding them before they could escape. Gunshots ran through the air, chaos erupted, and one by one, Kule men fell. Bola, seeing the faculty of the fight, surrendered, but Kule and Amara made a run for it, escaping into the darkness of the city. For weeks, they remained fugitive, constantly moving from one hideout to another. The police intensified their search, using every source to track him down. Once a man of great power, now lived in fear. Unable to trust anyone, his paranoia grew. His relationship with Amara became strained. He blamed her for their downfall, unaware that it was his own arrogance that led him there. One day, a tip-off reached the police. Kule and Amara were planning to flee the country. At the airport, as they stood in line, dreaming of a new life, they were surrounded. There were no escape this time. The law had finally caught up with them. In the end, the once untouchable Shadow Kule and his beloved traitor was sentenced to life imprisonment with hard labor. Their wealth was seized, their influence shattered, and their name became nothing but a caution tale. The town finally breathed sign of relief. Mama Nkechi, upon hearing of Kule capture, wept, not out of sadness but out of joy. The streets that once trembled under Kule rule now blossomed with new hope. Inspector Jide was honored for his bravery, and Ebuka, in exchange for his cooperation, was given a reduced sentence. Bala too turned state witness, providing testimony that disarmed what was left of Kule Empire. They seized his money in the bank. They locked up all his expensive house. They also took all his expensive car. The story of Shadow Kule became a lesson passed down through the generation. Power gained through evil is a flirt, and justice, no matter how delayed, will always find its way home. The moral of the story is, no matter how powerful or untouchable one may seem, the force of justice and righteousness will always prevail. Greed, corruption, and crime may grant temporary riches, but the untimely lead to downfall. In the end, integrity and truth will always stand strong than deceit and violence. Thank you for being here today. Please tell me what you think about the story. I will be waiting on the comment section. Thank you. See you on my next one. God bless you.